Hi, I know my title today is pretty direct, but it stems from really some research that I've been doing about loneliness, particularly in older people and particularly in England. Of course, they're my perspectives right now. So anyway, I welcome you to follow along for some interesting chat and discussion about loneliness, which is the invisible crisis in England right now. Welcome to English Roads Across the Pond and Back. So I'm out here for a beautiful walk. You can see the lovely lake area around here. So first thing I'd like to say is about the title, because as I was looking at different people's experiences, and including my own actually at different times, now being a widow, which I'm going to be sharing more about that in other videos, but there's a lot of loneliness, and I think it's fair to say that of course the younger people, they have their loneliness too, but it's not so well known, it's not so well documented possibly as the older folk. So what I want to think about first of all is what's causing this loneliness, because not everybody, but a lot of people are comfortable. We are a first world country. We have our houses, homes, hot and cold running water, food, to varying degrees. Now obviously I understand that some people have more money than others, some people are a lot more well off than others, but loneliness comes to across the board. I don't think there's any boundaries for loneliness kicking in, and unfortunately the human pride and the reluctance to admit that we are lonely comes through. It comes through in a lot of discussions and chats and people that I see around. So I'm just looking at my notes because I don't want to forget what I want to say. Very recently I heard about and saw that there was a report that over 25% of younger people, meaning under 40, now forgive me if someone doesn't like that term, older and younger, but I'm just meaning it for the sake of the discussion, under 40-ish. So apparently over 25% of those people in England or the UK, I'm not sure what the context is there, but whichever countries in the United Kingdom have rejected or turned away from having a relationship with their parents. And I think for whatever reason they've done that, there may well be a very, very good reason. There may be safety issues, there may be other issues that we, as strangers to them, may never know about. Sorry about the jerkiness, by the way, but please keep on watching, because it's going to be interesting to see what you guys think. But basically it shocked me, because I thought, why 25%? Now that leads me to think that looking at different cultures in the world where they're more used to taking care of their older folk, the parents would often live with their children and so on. I mean, I know that's not the British culture, and it's not the American culture generally speaking. I'm sure there are cases where people do that, and I think it's wonderful if you can and if everyone's happy. But there are a lot of issues with that, a lot of considerations, a lot of things to say, but I think that may well be a major cause of older people's loneliness, because if their own children, who they actually worked hard parenting them, working or mothering them, staying at home, whatever it was, schooling, taking them to school, taking them to clubs, pouring your heart into their lives, suddenly that huge busy area of your life is gone, and they've actually physically taken it away, in a sense, by refusing to talk to their parents. So I do think that that's a major problem, that's a major cause of it. Now, if there are any older people watching, I would really treasure your comments. I'd like to see and hear about your experiences. I think you can post anonymously, so please do so if you're concerned about revealing who you are. But so this is one of the things that's causing me concern right now, and it's the Lord's put it on my heart to make a series of videos about loneliness, and especially loneliness in the the silver wise generation of over 60s particularly, because by that time, usually speaking, your children, if you've had some, are grown. They've grown up, they possibly have their own families, they're busy. And anyone who has children and grandchildren will know that it seems to be the way now that parents do things where they're constantly putting their children into clubs or after school. That may well be, again, a good reason because they have to go out and work, or they want to work for financial reasons, which is all very fair enough. But remember, I'm just here to talk about what I see as reality. Whether it's justified or not is not up to me to say, of course. But I do feel sad. I feel terribly sad. And very soon in one of my videos, I'm going to be going up and talking to a few older people that my mum knows. And I'm going to ask them what would they say some of the main causes of their loneliness are, because probably they are lonely. When we're in our 50s and 60s, we're kind of getting to the point where we may be still working. Hopefully we're still active and doing things, and we still have the workplace usually, so we have that connection, we have those communications. That when people get to like the mid-60s or whatever, what happens then? So I'm not going to spend a lot of time out here today. It is rather cold and I did want to come out and have a walk and show you all what a beautiful area this is here. But suffice it to say that there obviously are a lot of issues connected with loneliness. It saddens my heart. And then sometimes it's fair to say that possibly people bring that on themselves by not trying to get out, or trying, if they're physically active, of course. It's all very subjective because we never really know what someone's going through. We never really know what they can and can't do. We don't know what's going through their mind, what they've just experienced yesterday. And so that just really brings me back around to the title, because have you experienced that? Have you had someone with a bad attitude? Which, from what I've seen in England, you probably have at some point. It's not my purpose here to be down on England. Believe me, I love England. I'm English. I have very fond memories of England here. I'm just calling what it is. Calling it what it is. And hopefully someone somewhere will say, yeah, that's right, that's correct, that we do need to stop having a bad attitude. We don't know what those people have gone through. If they're spending a lot of time walking across the road, give them a couple more seconds. Who are we to get impatient? Someone in the store, in the grocery shop, in the supermarkets, they're taking longer than usual looking at the products, and you're waiting to pick up your pack of chicken for dinner because you have 3 young children at home waiting for their dinner. Well, understandable that you want to get around, but we don't know how much value that person would see in you just being patient, or even extending your time a little bit, just 30 seconds, 1 minute. Oh, hello, how are you doing today? That chicken looks really good, doesn't it, with the ready-made with the rice. just something like that, something small, can mean a lot to people. And the very commonly known saying, it takes more muscles to frown than smile, I think we can extend that meaning to, there's no law against love. We should be extending love, respect and honor, especially to the older generation. If it wasn't for our grandparents, we wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for our parents, we wouldn't actually physically be here. So I really think that we need to remember what the Lord says. Respect our elders in the right way. It doesn't mean that we have to agree with them. It doesn't mean that we even like them, possibly, and especially strangers passing them by, but to give them that honor, to give them that recognition, I think. Can you imagine an 80-year-old or 90-year-old lady? She's given all of her time and effort and heart to her family over the years. She doesn't hear from them. If she does hear from them, maybe they're just inviting her out for a trip to somewhere. Well, that's wonderful. It's really nice. But my point is, where are the visits? Where are the people spending time with people? Half an hour, have a cup of tea or coffee, or just sit with them and mull over some memories that they have of their lives. Those minutes, we cannot really know the great value of those. So let's have a good attitude towards all people. I'm talking to myself too, because when we're out and about, if we're busy trying to get groceries or petrol or some other thing like that, and we get impatient or that kind of emotion, aggravated possibly, let's try and put that off and remember, we don't know what that person ahead of us has gone through. Thank you for listening.